Where are they now? The best college football recruits of all time from every state, starting with Kentucky. Well, first up at number 10 is Walker Parks, coming out of Lexington, Kentucky, who committed to play for Clemson. And he immediately got to play for the Clemson Tigers in 2020, becoming a pretty solid player there by 2024, being named a third-team All-ACC selection and returned in 2025. Coming in at 9 then is James Quick, coming into Louisville, Kentucky, who committed to play for Louisville. And in his 4 years of college football with the Louisville Cardinals, he became a very solid receiver there, but sadly went undrafted, never playing a single snap in the NFL, and is currently a wide receivers coach. Then just in front of him, cracking into the top 8 is Wan'Dale Robinson, coming out of Frankfort, Kentucky, who committed to play for Nebraska. And he played 2 years of college football with the Cornhuskers, where he was a pretty solid receiver before transferring to play for Kentucky in 2021. And in his final year of college football with the Wildcats, he was dominant, having over 100 catches for 1,334 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. And that allowed him to be picked in the second round of the 2022 NFL Draft by the New York Giants, where he's become a pretty solid receiver and is currently having a breakout season in 2025. Then coming in at 7 is Brian Brom, coming into Louisville, Kentucky, who committed to play for Louisville. And in his 4 years of college football at Louisville, he became one of the best quarterbacks in Cardinal history, as he was named the Big East Offensive Player of the Year and won the Orange Bowl MVP. And that allowed him to be picked in the second round of the 2008 NFL Draft by the Green Bay Packers, where sadly he was only ever a backup quarterback, bouncing around and last playing professional football in 2014. And after that, Brian Brom became a coach and is now currently the Louisville offensive coordinator. And coming in at 6 is Jedrick Wills, coming into Lexington, Kentucky, who committed to play for Alabama. And he immediately got to see playing time for Alabama, becoming an extremely good player in his 3 years there, being named a second-team All-American and a first-team All-SEC selection. And that allowed him to be picked 10th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns, where he was solid for 4 years before not being re-signed and is currently sitting out the 2025 season. Then cracking into the top 5 is Michael Mayer, coming into Alexandria, Kentucky, who committed to play for Notre Dame. And in his 3 years of college football with Notre Dame, he was one of the best tight ends in college football history, as he was named a consensus All-American. And that allowed him to be picked in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft by the Las Vegas Raiders, where through his first 3 seasons, he's been extremely underwhelming. Then coming in at 4 is Damian Harris, coming into Berea, Kentucky, who committed to play for Alabama. And he became an extremely good running back in his 4 years of college football with the Crimson Tide, winning 2 national championships and being a second-team All-SEC selection. And that allowed him to be picked in the third round of the 2019 NFL Draft by the New England Patriots, where he was solid for 4 years before joining the Bills in 2023 and then retiring in 2024, and is now currently a college football analyst. Then cracking into the top 3 is Eric Shelton, coming into Lexington, Kentucky, who committed to play for Florida State. And in his 1 season at Florida State, he barely got to play there, so he transferred to Louisville, where he broke out in his 1 season there, scoring 20 touchdowns, as he was named a second-team All-Conference USA selection. And that allowed him to be picked in the second round of the 2005 NFL Draft by the Carolina Panthers, where he sadly only got to play 1 season, not doing much of anything. And that was due to him suffering a career-ending injury, where he's now currently suing the NFL. And coming in at 2 is Micah Johnson, coming into Fort Campbell, Kentucky,